Man, I really need outlines on these things. So this is going to be a little bit more ranty and ravey of a video. Let's face it, as the more of these I do, the more times I'm just going to get like this and rant and rave, and maybe I can be the Alex Jones of this industry without the delusional conspiracy stuff. You should also start a betting pool when I put up a video. Will Lyle shave? The answer today, no. Please pick up your winnings. Today's going to be what I imagine will be a start of a series of articles, videos. Dumb shit fitness professionals say. And I'm not going to use Fit Pro because I think it's a stupid term. I don't like Fitspiration or any of that stuff. I will use Quitspiration in my group because I think it's funny. Fitness professionals. So I'm going to look at 4 things, dumb things or harmful things that are in the industry. So number 1, I read on a fitness page, this is like last year, and they said, beginners, go into the gym, nobody cares what you do. And I told them that's provably wrong. And if you don't believe me, go Google gym fail video. There are endless of these things. It's videos of people doing goofy things in the gym. Side note, these videos have been taken without these people's permission and posted online, and I think that's its own set of problems. And I do wonder if there's legal ramifications, but neither here nor there. The point being, how can you tell someone, we don't care what you're doing as a beginner, when they can go online and see, oh, look, I might do something wrong and get made fun of for it? Because among other things, basically what it's doing is it's holding beginners responsible for not knowing what they don't know. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who've been in the weight room forever, and they still come up with goofy stuff. We all did goofy stuff when we were younger. Difference was, well, when I was younger, there was no internet to inundate me with goofy stuff, right? Because the fitness industry is weird. It's the only one I've been in. People can correct me if I'm wrong. I get the feeling that it is the one subculture in the world or industry in the world where any goofy bullshit, no matter what it is, can gain traction. Because everything seems to work. If you're buff and you're in shape because of genetics or whatever, you can sell bullshit. And I don't think this works in other industries because there are only so many ways to play a guitar properly. There are not 1,000 different ways. There are only so many ways to fix a car. There are not 1,000 ways because it won't work. And in the fitness industry, 1,000 million things seem to work. So people see goofy shit online and assume that's correct or get taught it. I've seen trainers teach some of the most appalling shit, as have you. And these gym fail videos are basically just holding people. So, right, why? Why would a beginner go into the video, or go into the gym, rather, knowing that, shit, I might end up online because I don't know what I'm doing? I'm sorry, you just can't hold people responsible for what they don't know. So, knock that shit off. Those videos are not helpful. They are actively harmful. And I've kicked people. Anybody who shares that into my group will get kicked out and the video will be deleted. And I know others that do it too because they know it doesn't help. If you're not going to be helpful, shut the fuck up. Number 2 is kind of related and kind of doesn't belong here. I've seen a lot of fitness professionals do this. There'll be a thread and somebody's asking whatever, nutrition question, yada, yada, and the person will say, do your own research. And that is just terrible advice, right? Go online right now and Google weight loss or fat loss. You will come across the most overwhelming amount of bullshit information that you've ever seen for the reasons I gave in point 1. Now, I assume the fitness professional is thinking, well, I've got a background in this. I have a formal degree. I've been doing this for long enough. I can go look at this and know what's valid and what's not, and that may very well be true. I can go read an article, and I can see their claims and see that, and I'll go pull their references and see that most of the time they're selling bullshit. The average person cannot do this because it's not their field. It's not their background. And that's part of why number 1 exists. Someone goes, exercise program, they're going to get inundated with unbearably goofy bullshit. How can they know any better? As a fitness professional, that's your job. And if they ask you that question, instead of telling them, do your own research, which is usually the cop-out of the internet moron, right? The internet, oh, they're having an argument with you, and you go, fine, provide evidence. They go, do your own research. It's because they don't have any. When fitness professionals do it, it's just not helpful. Give them better information. Give them an article you've written. Send them to a website you think has valid information, like bodyrecomposition.com. Point them in the right direction. Do not tell them to do their own research in the wild, wild west of the internet that's 99% bullshit. It's not helpful. It may not be as harmful as the first one, but it's not helpful. And if you're not going to be helpful, shut the fuck up. Number 3, I'd say it's my biggest pet peeve, but face it, everything is my biggest pet peeve. I don't like anything. Hell, I don't like a lot of what I say on any given day. I disagree with myself, depending on what day you ask me. There's a meme, and I know you've all seen it, and it says, why you're not losing weight across the top. And on the left-hand side, it says things like, you have a slow metabolism, you eat carbs at night, you have low thyroid, all the typical, reasons that are given that we know aren't generally the case. And on the right, it says, the only one that's not X'd out, you're eating like an asshole. And I got a problem with this for a number of reasons. And the person who made it needs to be punched in the face, and the people who share it need to be smacked. Because, among other things, it's not helpful. It's just judgmental bullshit. It's telling you you're stupid for not knowing better because you did your own research and all you came across was this kind of ignorant shit, which we know is all over the internet, when you don't have a background to sift through it. How can you expect anybody to know any better? Just because you do, because you've spent, this is your obsession, because you're a neurotic fitness psycho. Right? Number 2, look at the verbiage, right? An asshole, other than just me, is someone who is doing something consciously that they are aware of that they know is a shitty behavior. The guy cuts you off in traffic with that much room in your bumper. Someone won't let you merge onto the freeway just because they want to be a fucking dick. When someone runs through the red light, which is a big new trend in Austin, these people all know that they're being shitty to you. And that's what an asshole is. Someone who doesn't know any better because they don't know what they can't know is not being an asshole. They have been misled by endless amounts of shitty information. And you cannot know what you don't know. Right? Because nobody can know everything about everything. And because it's your obsession doesn't mean it's theirs. They're trying to learn. Right? Now, people have accused me, Lyle thinks he knows everything. Oh, no. I'm very well aware that I know nothing about 99% of the universe. Probably more than that. Right? I happen to know a lot about a handful of my own micro-obsessions, which is the fitness industry, video games, monkeys, and a couple of others. Right? I know a lot about those. And I don't know shit about anything else. I don't know jack shit about car repair. I know very little about cooking, right? If I wanted to learn about them, I would go do a ton of research in my own obsessive way. Again, the difference, I think, is in auto repair, there's just only so many ways to do things right. A couple, maybe only one. In cooking, a recipe that's a piece of shit doesn't work. In the fitness industry, there's a million things that seem to work because someone is buff. So it's not the same. So telling someone you're eating like an asshole, when they're not, they've just been misled by the shitty information they found doing their own research. It's not helpful. It's actively harmful because you're just judging people for not knowing what they don't know. It also doesn't provide anything useful. It doesn't tell them what might be better. Maybe implicitly, people go, oh, well, if you just reverse the non-statements, oh, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean. You're not providing them useful information. You're just saying you're stupid. And here's why. It's not helpful. It is harmful. If you're not going to help, well, stop sharing it in the first place. But if you're not going to help, shut the fuck up. And the last one, which is kind of related and more generally, one new trend I've seen on the gram, there's this tendency for people to kind of make these trite statements to sound edgy and critical. And that's because Instagram is basically infographics written by the simple-minded. Some of that, I get it. There's not word limits, but people want to be quick. And I mean, Twitter was worse because of the limits, but this is just this new thing. And it's basically a bunch of fitness professionals going, I know more than you do, and everything you know is dumb because you did your own research. And I'm going to shit on you so that I can feel like the smartest person in the room. And let's face it, they can't be the smartest person in the room because I am. And that's sort of a joke. And the one I saw that spurred this thought process, and it was 3 points, and I'm annoyed I can't remember the third, but he already deleted my comment, no shock. And what it said was, Number one was you're not a night owl. You have poor time management and bad sleep hygiene. Number two was you're not unmotivated. You're on an unsustainable program. The third one was along that vein. And then the last statement was don't excuse your bad behavior with blanket statements. He said judging people with blanket statements, which is oh so hilarious. But his statements are also wrong as an absolute. Right? Do some people have shitty sleep hygiene? Sure. I'm not disagreeing with that. But there is an ample amount of evidence on what's called morningness versus eveningness. Some people have high eveningness. They are most functional later in the evening. And I maintain that people in certain industries like the bar industry and strip clubs and stuff like that have high eveningness because you have to. How can you function at 1:30 in the morning if all you want to do is sleep? People with high morningness function best in the morning. They're the ones that can bounce out of bed at 7 a.m. and go to work, but by 9 o'clock they're ready to go to sleep. They try to work a night job, it'll tend to kill them, and vice versa. Can you do it? Sure, through sheer dint of will, but it's not working well with your inherent biology. So maybe some people who are up late just have high eveningness. The second one, the motivation thing. Again, I'm not saying that there aren't people on unsustainable programs, but if it hasn't been shown, it will be that there's an aspect of motivation that is genetic and biological, because there's an aspect of everything, including behavior patterns. And some of it's learned, and I'm not disagreeing with that. But he is making a blanket statement and saying don't make blanket statements, and that's my issue. It's like this tendency for fitness professionals who are invariably highly motivated people and were since they were 15 and can't realize that they don't represent the majority of folks, say, it's bad to be extrinsically motivated. Be internally motivated. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong. Intrinsic motivation tends to be better, right? Students that study for the sake of studying do better than those that study for a grade. But that's irrelevant because most people aren't wired that way. And it's the same thing in other aspects, right? People that are extrinsically motivated can't just be intrinsically motivated because you told them to. It's like telling a dog to cat. Any more than you can tell someone who's got rigid eating patterns to just be flexible. It doesn't work that way. You can give them a roadmap. You can show them how to get relatively more flexible in their attitudes, which is what studies do, by the way. It's over time. They don't just say, be flexible. It doesn't work that way. And I told him to go look into a model called self-determination theory, which is a behavioral model, which has a lot of different things. But among them is one about motivations. And there are purely intrinsic motivations, but there are a scale of extrinsic motivations, from purely extrinsic to relatively more intrinsic, because you may not ever get that person there. And we've known this client, right? They come in, want to lose weight. It's purely extrinsic motivation. And then 6 weeks in, they go, wow, I feel better, I'm healthier, I can do things I couldn't do. And they start to realize that exercise and fitness and health for the sake of it is its own reward. But they never may become purely intrinsically motivated. And I told him to look into that. So his little trite, profound, edgy Instagram bullshit was not only not helpful, because it was just being judgmental about why everyone is stupid and wrong except for him, which is untrue because he was wrong. Like I said, he was wrong, flat out. Again, yes, there are people that is the reason. But you don't get to say don't make a blanket statement as you make a blanket statement. It doesn't work that way. But it wasn't helpful. It is harmful. He was wrong. And if you're not going to help, shut the fuck up. I don't care how many clicks and likes it gets you to try to be that guy. Either share good information and share helpful information, or he says as I share a video shitting on everyone. The difference is that the majority of my content, go to my website, 600 articles. I try to provide better information. People have told me, you should just shit on everything in the industry. And I could do it. I could write an article every day for the rest of my life doing nothing but telling you why everybody else's approach is stupid. But that's not productive. I would rather try to give better information because that helps. And again, you'll notice that who am I picking on? I'm not picking on the general public. I'm picking on the fitness professionals who should know better than this shit. Because if you're a fitness professional and you make any noise about wanting to help people either start and be healthier or get in an exercise program or do it right, and you're doing this kind of shit, then your actions don't match your words. And the best example is from my group a few weeks ago. I shot a bunch of pictures showing people how to microload weight machines, which frequently have these big-ass weight jumps, right? And I put it in my Facebook group. And a lot of people are just like, oh my God, I'd never thought of this, right? I've been in the gym for 20 some odd years professionally and 30 since I started, something like that. Presumably I figured out how to do a couple things. And someone in the group, a trainer of all people, said, I don't see the point of this. It just seems like common sense, right? Why do you need to, seems like it's over. Well, clearly it wasn't, because people were like, it never occurred to me. It's only common sense if you already know. And they did because they're a trainer. And God, I really hope that when their clients come to them and go, and ask them a question, they just go, oh, it's common sense. Because that's what they did. And I kicked them out after I told them, look, it's not common sense unless you already know it. If you want to be this person, that's fine, but go do it elsewhere. But what's hilarious is, like I said, they're a trainer, and on their Facebook page, their little headline says, practice compassion. And that's good advice that they should try. So let's sum up. Number 1, stop sharing gym fail videos. You can't tell people to not be embarrassed in the gym if you share videos that show you shitting on people for not knowing what they don't know. Either be helpful or shut the fuck up. Number 2, telling someone to do their own research when the internet is a morass of bullshit is not helpful. It's not as harmful as the others. If you think you know better, point them in the right direction. Either be helpful or shut the fuck up. Stop sharing this "you're eating like an asshole" meme. It's one of the worst. Because it's judging people for not knowing what they can't and don't know when they've done their own research and gotten their head filled with bullshit. Give them better information. Point them to better information. The meme is not helpful, it's harmful. And if you're not going to be helpful, shut the fuck up. And finally, stop sharing these trite, wannabe, edgy Instagram things where you're just trying to go, here's why everything you've ever known is wrong, because you've done your own research and been exposed to nothing but shitty information. It may make you feel cool, but if you pretend that you're in this industry to help people, either provide useful information or shut the fuck up.